And away we go with Warriors of Japan. I've got it a bit farther away from me on a tripod, so hopefully the audio is okay. I know it's a bit dark, but it's the only way I could get rid of the glare. This is my second time recording this, because the first time I made some rather egregious errors, particularly in the roads leading to Kyoto. I didn't realize south and north Kinki were the only ones that were adjacent to that. It was a bit unclear. And I made some other mistakes too. So I thought this game was deserving of a proper playthrough, so I thought I'd start it over. So this is Warriors of Japan, a Country of Flame, 1335 to 1339. This is the second American release in the Warriors series by MMP Games, the first being Warriors of God, which covers the 100 Years' War, and also has a scenario for Lion in Winter. This, however, came out first in Japan, and it's fairly obvious, looking through the rules, that this is a precursor. It's a good deal simpler than Warriors of God. Not that Warriors of God is a particularly complicated game, but Warriors of God has a lot of additions, I guess you could say. This is more of like the base system, kind of, if that makes any sense. And it's its own game in its own right as well. It looks to play quite differently, and it's through a much shorter period of time, so there's no like leader death rolls or things like that. Leaders only die in this in combat, although there is a lot of possibilities of betrayal, switching sides before the battles even start. From what I understand, this is somewhat equivalent to the English War of the Roses, so it's like a civil war between North and South, the Northern Court and the Southern Court. We're fighting over 3 different islands of Japan here, it looks like. And let's see where to start. It is quite similar to Warriors of God, but like I said, simpler. So there's only one type of unit. There's no cavalry, longbowmen, siege units. There's no sieges in this either. It's just straight combat. It has the same idea of only one side can have points at a time, so it's a zero-sum game. It has 20 turns. The game can also end if one side reaches 10 at end of round scoring. So that's another possibility. If the game happens to end in a tie, then there is a one-on-one samurai combat to determine the winner, which seems very exciting, although I doubt I'll play well enough to get it to a tie. So things are a bit clustered right now. There will be a lot of spreading out once we start, and you could also stack them if you wanted to, but it's important to notice all of their symbols, which tells you their home region, which is where they will automatically convert if they end their turn there. If someone ends their turn in a region that is not their home, they have a die roll to try and convert it. So it's important for me to be able to see all these symbols and plan out my movements here at the game start, and then they'll start spreading out and it won't be nearly as clustered. The game, contrary to MMP's website, only has one scenario. However, there is a variable setup. So these neutral samurai, I guess you could call them neutral, are randomly distributed between the 2 players at the start of the game. So that does add some variety. It also says it's 4 to 10 hours. I think that is inaccurate. I have a feeling it's more on par with Warriors of God, maybe a little longer, so something in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 hours if I had to guess. But we'll know for sure once we finish this. What else is there to say? Well, so the obviously gorgeous components. It's a paper matte. It's glossy, which I don't like. Warriors of God is more of a matte finish, which I much prefer. But the art is absolutely gorgeous, and it has everything that we need. Pretty much, you read through the rule book once, and then you have everything you need on the board. It has movement limits. You'll notice the different borders here. That's how many. There's no stacking limits, but you can only move 2 units in between a black border, 4 if along a road, and red, there's no movement allowed between that. Also, once you move across a border, it cuts off that border for the entire turn for both players, which is very important, and something I forgot in my last playthrough. On the tokens, and these are very nice 1-inch counters, 2-sided, we have a few figures. I talked about the home region, and there's a lot of matching symbols, like looking at the symbol and trying to find it on the board, and that might be something I become more familiar with as time goes by. But what I would have recommended is instead, and it's a bit less thematic, but have these be letters instead, and have them start with like A in the upper left here, and go down to Z in the lower right. And that way you would at least have the general direction of where to look, because it is very difficult trying to look and find where these symbols are, and several of them look somewhat similar as well. But in any case, the other numbers. So the white number surrounded by red here, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, but it's the bravery rating, and it's basically the combat rating. So whoever's leading the troops, you compare their 2 bravery values, and it adds to your die roll. You hit on 6s. This black number is the number of troops that person can command in combat. So not how many they can have in their stack, but how many they can command in combat through all of the units that are in. Basically, only one commander is going to be making the rolls for all of their samurai and their various soldiers. The star ranking, there's 1, 2, or 3 stars. That determines a number of things. It's the rank of the individual. So it's how many soldiers that they can have in their stack. It's 2 times the number of stars. Or 3 times. I'm pretty sure it's 2 times. I will double check though. I'm fairly certain it is. So this gentleman can only have 2, whereas this 3-star could have 6. Also, when rolling for control of a territory, if it's not their home region, you get a hit, a success, on the number of stars or less. So 3 or less for him, only a 1 for him. And also on the samurai loss table, if they were to take losses in combat, as a loss in combat, that number gets added, if they're on your team. The other thing to note is, unlike something, say, Hammer of the Scots, these colors, while they matter, they don't necessarily indicate which team they're on. Instead, you'll notice that I've oriented all of the counters. All the south are facing north, and all the north are facing south, because these guys can betray and join the other side, but the other side of this isn't blue. It's a replacement samurai if this samurai were to die, which is normally a weaker variant. So you can't trust the colors, basically, to see who's on whose team. It also matters for a few different things of modifiers for friendly rolls or death rolls and things like that. In any case, so much like Warriors of God, you will take movement impulses, and the object of the game is to score victory points. You do so either by killing or inflicting some sort of loss result on samurai, and that's only 3 or 2 stars, I believe. That's something else I messed up as well. Where's the victory points? Here we go. Yep, only 2 or 3 star samurai. Very important to remember. We'll score points if you are able to make them roll on this table. They don't even have to die, even if they just roll on that table. And the other way is every round, what regions you control will score you points. Most regions score 1. However, these highlighted regions, this one and this one, score 2. And then Kyo, here in the middle, which is a hexagon that's covered up by these lot, score 3. And that's it. So I need to start planning out some of my initial movements. I rolled for initiative already, and both sides roll. Whoever gets the highest is the initiative leader. And unlike in Warriors of God, I think the non-initiative player has the advantage because they get first choice of neutral lords, and there's a few other bonuses for them as well. In this, though, I think the initiative player seems to have the advantage. He has many bonuses going for him, in addition to just having more movement allowances, more movement phases. I can't think of the exact word. Impulses. Right. So a 3 was rolled, and a 2 was rolled. So what that means is the red player goes first, and we take the lower die result, add 1, and that's the number of impulses that the initiative player gets, and then the non-initiative player gets 1 less. So that's that. So the board is set up. We're ready to go. I'm going to stop the camera, plan out my moves, and then I'll come back. Alright, so I've taken the first move. I've moved 4 units of the northern court over here. For a few reasons. I want to take this region, obviously, because it's worth 2 points. So I brought my 3-star leader over, so he has a 50-50 chance of converting it. The rest, these 2, this is their home region. In fact, I could have... Oh, now I have to check the movement again. I can't remember if they can split up. I believe that they can. No. Okay, they must go from one to the other. Right. Well, with that in mind... Well, crap. I didn't realize that that was there again. For some reason, I just have a tough time seeing the borders on this map. And they're obvious. I'm just not familiar with it yet. Because my idea was to bring in these 2 gentlemen over to here and then up to here to take care of this. But we can bring them directly in from here. So now the other thing that we can do is we could bring in 2 from here and then 2 from here at a later point. That might be something that we want to do. Although we can only move them once per activation phase. So I think, yeah, I'm fairly certain that's true. And I'm not sure how to keep track of that, by the way. That's a problem. There's no counters or anything for me to keep track. So let's pick some different people then to bring over. We'll bring over this gentleman instead. Him we'll keep because we need to come over here with him. And then let's see if we can find a gentleman that matches this up here. It doesn't appear to be so. Now let's then look and see if any of these have anywhere useful to go otherwise. So this guy's up here. That's probably unlikely for a bit. I imagine, well, I suppose he could come reinforce and then maybe head up that way eventually. Like I said, it's a lot of, it's only my first time playing. I haven't read any strategies or anything like that, so I don't know exactly what the strategies are, but it seems that we want to get people to their home regions so we can automatically convert, because you only recruit from a region that you control. While I'm looking, this was the southern player's move. Leaving him here to convert this, and then he will have a 50-50 chance of converting that. Right, I need one more to move over. Well, this is not going to happen anytime soon, so let's move him along with them. Very good. So that was one impulse each. So let's just keep rolling and go with the next. So here we're at 1. Red is first. He feels very vulnerable, but there's not much that we can do. So I think I'll come in here instead, hoping we're a bit vulnerable. But these guys have already moved, so they can't move again. The only thing that we can hope for is that we get initiative next time, so either we can confront them, because there's a flypaper rule to whereas the number of units that we have traps the number of units that they have, basically, so they can't run away. So hopefully we get initiative next time. So that'll be ours, and then the last for blue, I think we'll just move up into one of these regions. Let's make sure. So, oh yeah, it's hard to see with all these, but the road does not appear to go from here to here. Instead, from there, so something to keep in mind. Now, we would like to get this region because we have a samurai over here that we can recruit. So they're worth the same amount of points. So we might as well do it. Plus, we're blocking them off a bit as well. Alright, so let's again try and match symbols to see. These guys are all in Kyo, and I'll probably keep them there. So I can just stack them up. He's the only one that I might consider moving out because of this. Do we have someone else here that will convert this place? We do. Him. So we have to make sure we leave him here. Okay, so let's see. We wanted this one, didn't we? So him. And he's a very good leader. However, him being only 1 star means it is unlikely. Oh, nope. Okay, I'd have to go here and then here. So I have to go here. Now, I could go here with the Ive moving onward. Certainly. So it doesn't appear that we have anyone that will automatically convert this. So we need to look beyond. Well, him here. And then let's also consider the next region in that direction. Doesn't appear. This is quite far away, but I do want him doing the fighting with that 3, so I am going to do this. That will be my 2. So that's that, and now we have 1 more for the north. Well, then the north should take this, I think. There's no way we can reinforce him at this point. This border's crossed, that one's crossed. It says to leave people across the borders to show that they've been crossed off, and that might be something I do once we get to 6 or more impulses, because it'll be harder to keep track. But for now, I'll just trust my memory, as bad of an idea as that is. So let's see. Do we have... Well, this guy needs to start moving. So I suppose, let's see. So this is attached to here. Obviously, this is a very large force. So we don't want to leave this empty or vulnerable. And there is a road going there as well. So we could face a very large battle there. And the reason I wasn't attacking straight in is because they would have been able to get in more troops, and it's a good idea, I think, to try and get control of regions and amass troops before trying to attack Kyo. Well, he needs to stay there. Okay, well, we could skip this region. But again, there's nothing useful with any of these. Well, we have to move someone. We need to try to take control. But who? I want to hurry up and get this move done so I can show you the cleanup phase. Again, hopefully at some point you learn where these symbols are, but it's a lot of me just scanning around and like, where on earth is this? I can't even find out. Oh, it's up here. Might as well be a big red X because we're not getting that anytime soon. Maybe we don't. I feel like we're going to leave a region very open if we move. So maybe we pass? Because if I move just one person, then they're likely to get captured. Well, the camera died on me, so I'm not sure exactly how much I missed, but I don't think it was too tremendously much. I decided to pass with the north on the last turn because I couldn't see anywhere that they would move to, that wouldn't leave somewhere open. So what I did next, there was no combat phase, so that would have been turn 3. Turn 4 determined region control. I just went through and looked first to see, well, I just went region by region. If it matches, they automatically get control. So that was the case here. They failed their roll here. They had a chance of 1, 2, or 3, and they failed it. They succeeded their roll here, I believe. And I also want to say we succeeded here. This was also a success. They did very well on their rolls. This was an auto-convert. This was an auto-convert. I want to say that this was a roll. This was an auto-convert. And then this was an auto-convert. Okay, so I think that catches us back up. If I did miss any moves, I apologize. Hopefully we won't miss any more in the future. So we determined region control, and now we recruit soldiers and then samurai, and that order is very important. And I'm standing above the camera because I don't want it to die again, because it's not fully charged. So for recruiting forces, if we own the region, then we get samurai equal to the highest ranking samurai there. I'm not sure if these are samurai warriors, whatever you want to call them. So here, for example, we get 1, and he can hold it because he has 1 star, and therefore can hold 2. This is not owned, so nothing happens here. This is owned, and he is 3. Now we don't get to choose necessarily where those go. They go to the person with the lowest number of samurai first. If that's a tie, in the case of these, we get to choose, but they'll each get 1. And then for the last, I will put here. Moving on to here. It's going to be 2, and I believe all these are the same. So let's put it under the guys that are best at combat. And again here. That would be 3. Oh, wait a second. I need to make sure not to go over the limits. I think we're okay. I was just kind of doing it automatically. Okay, so 3 units. He has 1, 1. So they each get 1. they cannot hold anymore, so he gets the remainder. I'll just flip this. So now he has 4. Kyo never recruits. He's supposed to be in here. I didn't move nearly as many out as I needed to for just spatial reasons. 3, so 1. Let's see, we have options, don't we? For now, I'm just putting them under the highest combat value individuals when given the choice. If I were thinking very strategically, I might consider who's going to be going where eventually and try to make forces in mind that way. He might stay here. His work is kind of done, so I will do that. And he had 2 already. That should be fine. Over here, we only get 1. I'll put it under this gentleman, because he is a beast. Down here, 1. So he's full, so we need to start getting some northern samurai over there to take advantage of that. And I believe that's everywhere. So, now, recruitment of samurai. So, I want to check here. But you get a number of samurai equal, I believe, to initiative. But I want to just make sure that that is the case. Number of samurai total equal to the current initiative number. After the initiative player, the non-initiative gets to do the same, but with 1 fewer. This was on a 3. Camera's about to die again, so let's try and do this quickly. If you have the option, you must bring in samurai of your region before you bring in neutral samurai in a particular location. And we can only do it in regions that we control. So we control this one, so we'll go ahead and bring him in, and he doesn't get any samurai when he comes in, so that's important to note. That would be 1. This would be 2, and this would be... Oh, we have options here, don't we? Purple flowers here, we already own this, so let's do that. Okay, and then for blue, they have the same chance, although I don't think... Oh, they have 1. They will bring him in. Very good. And then lastly, victory points. So let's try and score. Let's work our way in this direction. There were no fights, so no victory points in that. So 1 minus 1, so we're at 0. Plus 1, 0. Plus 3, 0. 1 for red, 0. Look at that. That's not what I would have expected given the fact that they lucked out on the rolls, but Kyo is a very powerful providence. So the score remains at 0. We move on to the next turn, and then we will roll for initiative and continue on. So I'm going to charge my camera, and I'll be back. And we're back. My daughter got at the board a bit, so hopefully everything's back in place. If I rolled initiative last time, I rolled it anew. So that may have changed. But otherwise, I think everything else is alright. So, the South has the initiative, and I've been thinking about what to do exactly. There's a lot of places we'd like to go. We'd like to go here, here. I'd also like to attack here, but at first, I think I'm going to move him to reinforce this. Now, the issue with that, we're bringing 3 samurai. This will not provide us reinforcements if we leave it empty, and if we cross this, we can't go back. Now, that's only for the movement phase. I believe we can retreat over it, although retreating is pretty punishing in any case. But we'll get to that when we come to it. I'm fairly certain it's only for the impulse phase that it closes off the borders. So that's going to be the south. And then the north, I think, is still going to attack. They can move 4 from here and 2 from here. They're not going to move all of them, I don't think. They still have quite a bit of numbers advantage just by doing this. They will move everyone out from here because they can still bring someone in to get these points. Also, I must have run out. Yeah, okay. I'm confused as to why these guys are here, but I'm sure it's fine. So that is one movement point. That would take another, so we're back to the south. I would love to attack this, but then we have to worry about this and this. Now, what we could do is attack this and force the issue where they either have to put forces to one or the other if they want to leave someone here to get recruitments. I am a little worried about a massive attack from both sides here. Let me double check the borders and make sure everything's touching. It certainly appears to be. Although, I suppose if worse comes to worse, we could come back like this. So, for 2, for our third movement, we will come in. And with who? Well, let's see if we have anyone with a matching symbol. And I don't think that we do. So I'm going to bring the highest rank gentleman over. We can bring 4, if we so desired. Let's try to fit everyone. You can come back on this little peninsula here. Alright, so that's 1. And we should also look beyond and see if we have any symbols matching there. He appears to match, so we'll bring him over. 2. And I think we should do well enough with just 1 more. So who do we want? He's leading currently. This guy has the least use for us, I think. So we'll move him over as well for 3. I don't think we dare to move anymore. So now for the north. Then it's up to them. Do they think they have a chance at winning this one if they reinforce it? That's the first question, or a question. And also, do they need reinforcements here? Let's look at the numbers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Versus, I believe it was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However, he's at a 3 versus a 2 bravery rating, which means he'll hit on a 5 or 6 instead of, just a 6. And this guy is leading the battle. We should have left him behind because he's a terrible leader. In fact, that is actually devastating. Because he's a 3-star, so he is going to take control of the battle, which means 1 versus 3, which means he'll hit on a 4, 5, or 6. So that was a terrible plan for my part, which means we definitely should reinforce over here. Unless we just think, give it up, like it's not going to happen. Do we reinforce with both? I suppose so, because we could always bring someone in up here. So let's go all in and do that. So that brings us down to 1. Alright, 2 left for the south. Now unfortunately I did a bit of poor planning in this direction as well, because these are only 1-star generals. So coming over here, a bit unfortunate. We only need to bring over 1 person, really. The only problem is if we bring him over, then he's not going to recruit anyone. If we bring him over, I'm a little worried about this. Obviously, he's a much better fighter. I could bring over both of these and just leave him there. I suppose that's another possibility as well. You can bring 2 over across a waterway, but this appears to be a road between the islands, which means 4. So we need to make sure he goes because of that. So I think I will bring these 2 over to here and leave him behind. He won't get anyone. I could also split them up, couldn't I? I don't know that I want to leave this unguarded. That would be... They only have 1 move left. I don't think they're going to commit that move over here, but maybe they would. I'll do this for now. That will be my move. So the last for the north. Interesting predicament they find themselves in. Well, this has been left open, so we might want to bring someone in there just so we have forces to be recruited. Question is who? I say we bring this lowly gentleman, perhaps. I don't think that that is a wise idea, although since this is kind of all spread out, I think we're a little safer to bring someone else over here now. So let's do that. Let's bring, he's a 1-star, and he is a 1-star, but he's quite a bit better. So I'm going to use my last to bring him over to here. Which leaves 1 more for the south. And I think I'm going to try to come over here. I can always bring him back if I need to, but I might as well try and take this while I can. I see no harm in it. So there it is. Initiative is done. Combat is next. Okay, so initiative player chooses first. I'm not sure it's going to matter a tremendous amount. So let's go ahead and do the great battle here. Since I haven't shown off combat yet, we will, well, go ahead and show it off. So, we have 8 people, but he's our leading forces here, he's our leading forces here. He can roll 6 dice, he can roll 6. He hits on 4 5s or 6s, he hits only on 6s. So, I only 5 dice came with the game. So I'm going to have to roll one of them over. And obviously you won't be able to see the results, but... Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3 hits for blue, and 1 hit for red. Now, I'm fairly certain these can be done in any order, but samurais have to go last. So 1 hit for red, and then 3 hits for blue. Just take all of these. Okay, so that's the first round. The first round has to happen, but now people have an option to retreat. I don't think any of them are at this point. So we're still rolling 6 and 6. Not enough deaths. Should change that. Okay, that's going to be 3 hits for the south and 1 hit for the north. The south may need to reconsider their options. Or the north, I mean. Although, we're eating away at them. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we still have more than 6. We're going to keep at this. Retreat is very punishing. You get a free hit on the leaving members, and you get a +1 on that roll. Oh, no hits for the north this time, and only 2 for the south. We're going to start losing samurai soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, still fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just fine. Keep fighting. There's no number of rounds, unlike in Warriors of God, where if there's a number of misses for the aggressor, you have to stop, and this it just keeps going until someone runs away or everybody dies, basically. Ah, North did a bit better there, 2 hits. But 4 for the south. Devastating. Alright, so 2 hits for that, and 4. That's 3. That's 4. We're going to start losing samurai soon. You are not in the battle. We're only at 5 now, but we're only at 4 here. So we're going to fight on, I think. So 5 dice for them and 4 for them. Ooh, 2 hits for the north, but 3 hits for the south. So 2 hits for the north, which means this and this. Okay, so we roll. Do we do it now? Yeah. Well, let's figure out these hits as well. How many did I say? 3? So 1, 2, 3. Ha! 2 versus 2. Although a big advantage on this side of things. Okay, so now we roll on the samurai loss. I think you can still see. If they had more than 2 stars, or 2 or 3 stars, victory points would be happening, but that is not the case. So let's roll for the south first. We subtract the number of stars if friendly faction, so a -1 to this roll. Of a 0, so that's less than 2, so this is a rout. So he routes to his home country, I believe, and ends up there. Now for these 3, so these ones do not get the minus. That's a rout for him. We'll take care of that in a second. That's a 5. Rout and betrayal. Interesting. So he will rout on his homelands here. But he switches sides. And then the last 4, samurai death and succession. So that means we flip him over and we roll again immediately. And he only routes. I will need to check and make sure that they go to their home regions. And I will check that. Let's actually put them off a little bit so we remember. Oh, and this gentleman also routed, didn't he? Where is his symbol? It is here. But the fight is still happening. And in case there was an immediate betrayal, that's why we needed to do them now, because they could have switched sides during the fight. I think we'll still fight on. Yeah, I'm considering running away, but we fought this long. 1 hit each. Interesting. Okay, so again, now this time it would be 1 point each, so it stays the same because they're worth 2 stars. So we roll -2 for the south this time. That is a 3, which means death and secession. And now we roll again. 5 -2 again is death. Okay, so that's interesting. Because we had to roll on him again the second time. Oh, Oh, he's only a 1-star at that point, so never mind. I was going to say that's a point, but it isn't. However, he's dead, so I think that just means it's off the board. I'll double check that. This gentleman, -2, death. Okay, he's also a 1-star. 1 is a rout. And he's neutral, so I believe that means either in the Providence or in an adjacent one. And if it's an adjacent one, we want him here. But again, I'll look that up. And I mean, yeah, we fight, right? I mean, right? We fight, yes? Because it's a 50-50 shot if I run away that he hits me, and no shot that I hit him. Whereas if I stay and fight, then it's a 1 out of 3 chance that he hits me, but a 1 out of 6 I hit him. So I'm going to try it. And death. So that's 2 points for blue, because he's 3 stars. We roll -3, so 2, he routs. Alright, and let's look up those rules questions I had, and I will be right back. But major victory for the South. Okay, so I was right in that inns can go to an adjacent friendly holding box in the region that it's in, or in a friendly adjacent one. So I can do this. And the rest of them do indeed go home. So that was correct as well. That's everyone. Now I missed, and I told myself not to forget, but I did. The first step of combat is to roll for betrayal. You can try to sway someone onto your side of things, and we'll do that on the next battle, but I forgot. So we'll just assume none of it happened for that battle, that the rolls failed, and the rolls are fairly unlikely anyway. Okay, so that was that. Now, it doesn't specifically say, it says a samurai death, if check if it has a successor on the other side. If it does, roll immediately. But it doesn't say, 1, if it doesn't, and 2, if the successor dies. I don't actually see where it says to what happens to this samurai. I'm assuming he's out of the game, that he's gone. If I see something in the rules that contradicts that, I will change it, but that's how I'm ruling it for now. Alright, so our next battle here. Now this is one I actually think we're going to run away from, because we have really no hope of winning this. So again, betrayal is the first thing that happens. So you compare the number of stars, basically, when trying to do the betrayal roll. Target the samurai you're attempting, subtract the number of each, and then it's less than or equal to... Okay, so there's no hope for Team North here, because if they were to try to convert him, it's 1 minus 1, which is a 0. You can't roll 0 on a dice. So instead, he is going to try and convert him. So that is 3 minus 1, which is 2. So on a 1 or a 2, he converts him. And he does. So we just turn him around 180 degrees, and now he's on this side. And now this guy really wants to run away. And we have to conduct at least 1 round of battle. So, well, he gets 1 dice. Fortunately, he hits on 6s, and so does the enemy. He hits. It happens simultaneously, but I'm fairly certain he has 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Definitely. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 2 hits. He only had 1. But we do take a loss. We will take it here. And he's 1 star, so no victory points, but we still roll. See what happens to him. Let's make sure we keep him orientated the correct way. A 6, immediate betrayal. So he joins the South. And, you know, can't really blame him since they kind of just left him to die. So, we've bolstered our position quite a bit here. I think that's all of the battles. So now we need to determine region control. Now, I believe since we're here, these just get lifted up and booted off. I don't think they add to the rolls or anything like that. Yeah. Becomes uncontrolled if at least 1 samurai from the opposing court. And are there any other instances of that? I do not believe so. So, now we do our little symbol matching. So that immediate betrayal greatly benefited us because now we don't have to rely on the roll. Instead, it just happens. So good for us. He still has to try and roll. Heavy losses. Heavy losses, but maybe it'll all be worth it. Nope, not even that. Controlled, 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 can't control, controlled. Here, 1 or 2. Nope. Here, 1, just a 1. Ah, what luck! That's going to push the South far over in this direction, I think. And I believe that's it. So, recruit of samurai. So, we could recruit 1 here, but he can't go anywhere. No recruitments. We do recruit here. 2 stars, so 2 samurai. And I can do the recruitment off camera, I guess. And we're back. So we have recruited the soldiers. Samurai I didn't think about doing off camera, but we might as well do it now. So he comes in. That's 1 for blue. 2. 3. We don't own that. That's everyone that we can do, right? Looks that way. So the other side only gets 3. So, yeah. 1. Ah, we kept this. 2. Don't know what good that'll do, but it's done. And now let's do this. 3. Okay, victory points. Right. Well, we've done the battle, so South is at 2. 1, 0. 1, 2, 1, 0. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 for blue, plus 3 for blue is 4. That brings the South up to 6. Oh, wait, I only counted that as 1. South to 5. Halfway there, theoretically speaking. So, we go back, we determine initiative. So, red, 3. Next turn. And the next round will begin. So, yeah, here we go. Alright, so 3 and 2. So, red has a little bit of regrouping to do. This guy's all alone. He is 3 stars, so we certainly could press that front. Although, 1, 2, that's 4 samurai versus 1. They could only regroup with this. So you know what? I think it's worth it. Hopefully not foolish. So now for the South. Well, we could move him up, but I kind of think that he's just going to die. I mean, 2 dice, we could do some damage, I suppose. He'd He has 2 is the problem. I suppose we could hope, right? Let's do it. Well, that's one of our very valuable things here is the problem. This is, we have a huge number of forces here. We need to bring forces over here. We need to attack, I think. So we're going to leave him. He's so good, though. He's so good. He's so good. I mean, we could always bring him in last, right? But I think we need to bring people over to here and take this. Which will include him. And there's no roads, so we can only bring 2. So let's bring him. And let's bring him. Ooh, storming outside. Appropriate. These are stormy times. Now, yeah, activated that, so that's 1. I'm in a Mind of Hammer of the Scots where you activate a region, they can all go their own separate ways. Not the case here. Alright, back to the north. This confuses me. I see him, I'm like, oh, this is the north, but no, he's on this side. We can only move 2 across. We have to come to Kyo from here, basically, if we want to mount any sort of real attack. I was thinking, it only has 2. We could do it. It seems so risky, though. We could take this. Why not take Kyo? All they can bring in is these as reinforcements. Oh-ho. I think that is what we will do. And there's a road. So I assume that means we can bring in 4. So let's do just that. Bring him in to lead the army. Now he's a 4. That's extraordinary. But he will help balance that a bit. And a bunch of 1 stars here. And 4. Leave nothing to chance. Okay, so that's all in here. I'm going to actually move these off board. I'm going to put the Great Battle symbol there because there's not enough room. And it'll help me visualize a bit what blue should put in. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's come to the defense. This will be interesting. And then we have 1 move left for the north. The doorbell's ringing. I'll be right back.